Good morning, my dear students. Yesterday, I gave you a brief description of this chapter, that is chapter number 2 of book Flamingo, Lost Spring. So basically, the author of this chapter is Ains Jung, who was born in Rourkela and spent her childhood and adolescence in Hyderabad. She received her education in Hyderabad and in the United States of America. Her parents were both writers. Ains Jung began her career as a writer in India. She has been an editor and columnist for major newspapers in India and abroad and has authored several books. The following is an excerpt from her book titled Lost Spring: Stories of Stolen Childhood. Here she analyzes the grinding poverty and traditions which condemn these children to a life of exploitation. So basically, the author tries to tell us about the life of exploitation which the children face due to poverty and traditions, and that is why she's quite upset and she tells us the stories about children who are facing exploitation in our country. Now, first of all, there are two extracts in this chapter. First, as I've already told you, sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. And the second is, I want to drive a car. So first of all, we will start reading this article, that sometimes I find a rupee in the garbage. Why do you do this? I asked Sahib, whom I encounter every morning scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. Now the author tries to tell us about a boy whose name is Sahib, whom he encounter means he meet every morning, scrounging is searching for gold in the garbage dumps of the neighborhood of the author. Sahib left his home long ago. Set amidst the green fields of Dhaka, his home is not even a distant memory. So basically, Sahib is from Bangladesh, that is Dhaka. Dhaka is the capital of Bangladesh, and his home was set in the middle of the green fields and is not even a distant memory. Even he cannot even remember that what kind of home he had in Dhaka. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. His mother tells him. That's why they left, looking for gold in the big city where he now lives. So his mother told him that they had left, their homes and fields were swept away, and that is why they are here in this big city to look for gold. I have nothing else to do, he mutters. He mutters means he grumbles, he speaks looking away. Go to school, I say glibly. What is the meaning of glibly? Without showing much thought. So the author says that I told him that why don't you go to school without taking any second thought, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must sound. So now the author realizes that this must be a very hollow advice for the person, for a child like Sahib, and but still he asked him without giving a second thought. There is no school in my neighborhood. When they build one, I will go. Now Sahib says that I don't have any school in my neighborhood, but when they will build, I will go. If I start a school, will you come? I ask, half joking. Yes, he says, smiling broadly. So the author asks him that if I build a school, will you come to my school? And very broadly smiling, he says that yes, I will. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? Now, a few days later, he came running to the author, asking him that is your school ready? It takes longer to build a school, I say, embarrassed at having made a promise that was not meant. So he says that she was quite embarrassed because she had made a promise which she never meant to fulfill. And what was the promise that the author made to this boy Sahib? that she is going to build a new school for him, and asked him whether he will come if she builds a new school for him. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. Now, bleak means in not encouraging world. So he says that promises like this do exist in every corner of his not encouraging world, bleak world. After months of knowing him, I ask him his name. Sahibe Alam, he announces. He does not know what it means. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the universe, he would have a hard time believing it. So what was the name? What was his full name? Sahibe Alam. And the author says that the meaning of this name was Lord of the universe, and it would be hard believing the meaning for this boy Sahib. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the streets with his friends, an army of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. So he says that unaware of what his name represents, he always roams, he moves around in the streets with his friend, and who is like an army of barefoot boys. Barefoot means the boys who are not wearing anything in their foot. He moves with the army of barefoot boys who appear like a morning bird and disappear at noon. Over the months, I have come to recognize each of them. Why aren't you wearing chappals? I asked one. My mother did not bring them down from the shell, he answers simply. Even if she did, he will throw them off, adds another, who is wearing shoes that too not match. When I comment on it, he shuffles his feet and says nothing. I want shoes, says a third boy, who has never owned a pair all his life. Traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot in cities on village roads. It is not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. I wonder if this is only an excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. What do you mean by perpetual? Perpetual means continuous state of poverty. So the author says that why children are walking barefoot, because it represents the state of poverty.